bit of business. How are you, dude? Fine, very, very good. I've been a domestic so-and-so today. I've cleaned the house a lot. Um, Honestly, that's like an event now. Do you know what I mean? Uh, you know what? I fucking will. Get comfy. Buckle up, big man. Right. Yeah. So, right. Let's roll back the clock a bit, right? So when our last dog died, no, seriously, obviously a dog dying is the worst thing in the world, right? So how are we going to get over this? And what we did to make ourselves feel better? Do you remember we got a really wide living room? Yeah. So we went to IKEA and bought a 4 meter wide sofa. It's like a U-shaped sofa. Didn't see the pandemic coming. Didn't realize that we didn't need seating for 12 people. Anyway, that was one of the things we did to make the house a bit different because obviously we missed the dog and that's all very sad. Now we got Scout, who's awesome. And one of Scout's gifts to me on a weekly basis is to take one of her toys, always a surprise which one, could be a bone, could be something with marrow in, and really mush it into that expensive sofa. So part of the weekly cleaning routine for Rob is cleaning the floors, mopping, all that stuff, but also cleaning the sofa, which means hoovering, not just 4 meters. It's probably more like 6.5 meters because it's in a U shape, right? It's 4 meters wide. And then getting in with just the hand bit of the hoover under the cushions, so getting all the marrow out and all the bits of rubber and shit like that. Yeah. And then making up a special solution, because also dog drool has special proteins in it, I've discovered, that stains fabric. So a special solution of like, washing detergent and cat's tears and fuck knows what else, right? And then wiping it out. It goes on and on and on. So anyway, so I did the sofa today. I did the floors. I did a big old clean of the kitchen. I did a big tidy. I changed the sheets. You get the idea. It was one of those where I was like, I'm going to really earn having a drink later, sort of
For
thing.
sure. Do you have that thing though when you've committed to it? When you've committed to it and you're like, right, okay, I need to do all of these things, you kind of get in the zone and it just like you just zone out and you're like, right, cool, now I'll do this, now I'll do this, now I'll do this.
100%. And the dopamine release is amazing because it's just like this immediate to-do list. And I'm genuinely pretty sure I have some level of ADHD which means I have sort of low levels of dopamine, which is the drug the brain releases when you do something. You probably know this already. And so doing the housework for me is amazing because like bang, kitchen's clean, boom, I've hoovered stuff, bang, there's no crap on the sofa, wham, the sofa's gone, all cushions out, whatever. You get the idea. So that was good. A bit of fun, isn't it? And am I peaking? I feel like I'm peaking this end on the old levels there. I was getting a bit excited.
I mean, a little bit, but I mean, it's not distorting.
Fine.
It's looking
Nothing aggressive.
Hot, but not baking. It's not boiling.
Okay, we'll take it. MBD. So yeah, all fine. How are you? I gather you were cycling today.
Yeah, so I had 2 clients
New for you
this morning. Well, do you know what? I honestly, like, I haven't actually cycled out on the road for a little while because it's been so icy here and snowy. So I can't go out there because someone I know, a friend of mine, about two months ago, I think it was like mid-December, she was cycling in London, went over some black ice and broke her arm.
Had a great time.
Yeah. Broke her arm, smashed up her eye socket, broke her cheekbone.
Oh man,
like full on terrible crash. But I would never risk it in those kind of conditions. And obviously down here, it just lingers.
Dude, do you know I learned to ride a motorbike in the snow? Have I ever told you that?
No, that's why.
When I did my Well, I'll tell you why. Another funny story. No, so if you do your CBT, which is when you get the L plates and you can ride up to a 125cc machine. So when I did my full license, you do like 4 or 5 days of training, and I booked it in December, thinking it'll be cold, but fuck it, it wasn't cold. It was snowing. I remember on one day, luckily when we were still on the smaller bikes, we were riding back in the tire track down Leabridge Road. Of one of those big salting lorries, because that was the only bit of the road that wasn't just snow. And excuse me, and then the instructor came over the radio thing and he was like, "This is getting silly. Let's just pull into this pub car park here. We're gonna have to just get someone to come and get us because this is way worse than we thought it would be." And literally, as soon as we pulled out the tire track, he and another one of the students, there was 4 of us, fell over immediately. Like both absolutely fine because we're going like, they were anticipating it. But literally 2 of the bikes just went, see ya, and went straight onto the floor. And I just thought, I am never taking that risk ever. They were totally fine. Bikes were absolutely fine. It was just one of those things. But I remember thinking, it's never worth it on 2 wheels. I mean, it's never worth it on any number of wheels, but especially on 2 wheels. You just think, yeah, that's why the tube's there. Or in your case, the horse and carriage, whatever's around.
But this is the thing, isn't it? It's like in my case, it's just a choice. It's just a choice of I'm not going from A. I never go from A to B on my bike. I'm literally going out on my bike to go from B to A, to just go for a ride. And exactly. So it's that, and that's the same with most people I know. Right? They're not using it to commute. They're using it because they just like going for a ride. And so the worst that can happen is you just don't get that workout in for the day. It's not like, I can't get to that location. It's just
100%. Yeah,
I love cycling, but I'm gonna make sure that I don't cycle today so I don't die.
Right.
Hi, Moose. My mic is super low. Is it? Okay. Well, there we go. I'll make it a lot hotter. There we go.
Oh, that sounds great through my speakers.
Yeah. There we go.
Do you still have a car at the moment?
Yes, I do.
Boomtown. I've got obsessed, right? And by obsessed, the level of obsessed I'm talking about with electric cars. My thing now is you're either going to a plug-in hybrid, which is when you can just drive around up to, usually it's about 30 miles electric, which for most of the driving you do means you're never using any petrol.
Right.
And then I was chatting to Rachel about it more. I was like, I just want to get an electric car.
Yeah.
Like, I want to save the environment. I want to do what I can. And I read today that there's like rumors that Tesla are going to bring out like an affordable hatchback next year for sort of the price of like a new Ford Focus, something like that, like
nice.
Sort of 17 to 23 grand. I don't know, obviously, which I've got in my back pocket, which is not a problem. but it's great, it's progress, and I've been watching YouTube videos also. Sorry to, and I'm tangenting the tangent here.
Tangent, go.
But everyone's like, oh yeah, it's really bad with your data and algorithms because like everyone knows what you want, and like you talk about something, then you go on to Amazon and that things there.
It's fucking great.
Firstly, it's my problem, right? So I've got really into YouTube in like the last 6 months, like following channels and stuff and really enjoying it. These algorithms are shit, bruv. Because what I do, as I said earlier, I think I have some form of ADHD, is I don't ever stick to one topic. So the other day I watched a video of the legendary jazz guitar player Joe Pass. Just came up in
amazing.
Why not? Gorgeous. Logged in the next morning thinking, bit more electric car, please. There's like 60 videos of Joe Pass. It's like, big man, I don't play guitar. I don't give a fuck about his life. I just enjoyed that one song.
It doesn't matter. Now that you've viewed something, YouTube assumes that you're like a Joe Pass obsessive.
He drives me on the fucking wall. I didn't ask for your life story, Joe. God love him, an amazing musician. But it could be, insert anything. I watched like 1 or 2 videos a little while ago of people doing flying lessons because I really want to get my pilot's license at some point. I love. Do
you?
Yeah, super.
Amazing! That kind of thing scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Well, do you know? I've flown a plane 1.5 times, right? Which sounds not legit. I realised as I said that. There's one time when the pilot was a bit sick into a bag and I just ran in. No.
It went all Tom Cruise.
Yeah, no. Actually think I've flown a plane, I guess technically twice, but 2 of those times was a half time. So once when I was really young, when I was like 10, my dad did a gig. My dad's a pianist for... it's called the Tiger Club, which is the Tiger Moth is a type of biplane, the 2-wing planes.
I know it.
And it was the one that they used to train pilots in, I think around the time of the Second War. I know certainly my grandfather was trained in the Tiger Moth. Anyway, the Tiger Club is now run, I presume it's still around, with like commercial pilots who love flying old planes, and so they keep all these lovely old planes. And on the weekend when they're not flying airlines, they go and have a go. So they have a lovely big piss up every year, and Dad came along and he said to the lovely woman organising it, look, as part of the fee, my son loves aeroplanes, could you organise him like a model of a Tiger Moth or whatever? And she said, no, we'll do better than that. And so this
we're gonna get him to go and fly one.
yeah, strap pain. No, this legend of a dude with the world's worst hangover, as in like he'd been last seen at 3 a.m. in a hotel corridor, got up at 9 the next day after this gig and took me up in a Tiger Moth and let me hold the stick and move it around a bit.
My God.
Obviously at 9 years old, dude, like amazing.
Yeah, of
right?
course, mind blown.
absolutely amazing. And then for my 30th, Rach surprised me with a flying lesson, which I took off. I did the taxiing. I didn't land it because we'd die, because landing is the really hard bit. But my mum and Rach were in the back, and I felt sick the whole time.
Oh shit, that's amazing. That's amazing, man.
Totally
I didn't
awesome.
know that. I didn't know you did that. That's amazing.
And then more recently, one of my uncles also is a pilot, has his pilot, and he just moved back to the UK from the States about 18 months ago. And I think he's already got 2 planes here because he hasn't got kids, and that's why it's better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right. And he took both Rachel and I up separately in this little 2-seater plane when we last visited them, or the time before, anyway. And he let me have a go then. But I sort of remembered a bit from the flying lesson. And this time I didn't feel sick. And he was like, "Oh no, this is good. You've got a good feel for the controls here." And then I was like, "Right, I'm doing this. I'm 100% doing this. This sounds like the best way to burn 10 grand, and then 1,500 quid to 4 grand every year after that for the rest of my life." Oh God, sorry, dude, I got us there. Fuck.
No. It's amazing. It's amazing. But it's great. There are so many things to talk through. So let's go in reverse. I mean, you're my fucking hero, because as I get older, I get more and more scared of being in a plane.
Everything.
Yeah, oh, right, just flying. I mean, yes, but also flying terrifies me. Like I was absolutely really.
Not really. Well, because there's no control.
Okay.
It's a bit like, I mean, dude, I like riding motorbikes, right? And in the lovely words of Ross Noble, if you get it wrong, you die. So
right.
The impetus is on you to concentrate quite hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess flying is the opposite of that, because you can't see what's happening or where you're going. And so if the plane just goes, you're there going, well, I don't have any rational reason for
that. Exactly. So yeah, so it's really funny. So one great example of that is when the plane's turning, when it's banking, right? And when it starts to happen, you can feel it happening. And to me, I hate that any feeling, literally any change in elevation or direction on a plane, and it scares the shit out of me. But if I look out the window and I see that we're like this, I'm like, oh, cool. Well, that completely explains why this feels really weird. Okay, and I can see that we're at an extreme angle. Yeah. But if I can't see that, you're right. If I can't see that's happening, then you're right. I'm like, cool, we're crashing, we're dead, everyone's dying.
Well, more recently, so my first stage of dealing with air travel was I like to sit by the window so I can see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rachel and I never used to drink on flights ever. As you know, I'm not like a huge drinker.
Mm-hmm.
But Rachel and I were coming back from a Greek island or something, and the lovely person who's taking care of us just said, "Would you like a drink?" And I went, "Yeah, actually, can I have a gin and tonic?" And then I was like, "Oh, this is why it's good, because I now don't care if we die because there are free drinks." And so now what I do on a plane is I get tanked, not in like an annoying, obnoxious way. I don't bother anyone. I don't start trying to like upset anyone else's flight or get loud. Nothing like that. But I just very quietly have a few, watch a few movies or whatever. Because flying now, like aside from if you're scared of it, that's totally fine. We all are scared of different things, and there's like fuck anyone who's got a problem with anyone being scared of anything, right? Like we all have different things.
Sure.
But so the fear thing aside, air travel now, it's a joke, isn't it? Like you've got a fucking flat screen TV, any drink you can think of, they've got it in the bar if you drink, or if you don't drink, they've got lots of lovely juices. Like the food is now pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
really. I don't know how good the vegan options are, in fact. But yeah, but it's like no, I can see what the intention was with this tray. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was an aim.
You tried
to feed me this coherent. Yeah, exactly. It was great. And then also, you've got, dude, do you remember? I remember once, right, when I was really young on a flight, and there was the one TV in each compartment. So as a little kid, you're just doing this, going, "Shut up, mum! I'm trying to."
Right.
And we had to circle before we landed for ages and ages. And they were like, "I'll just flick something on," because that was back when they used to just get terrestrial telly. And so we were just watching Only Fools and Horses for like 90 minutes because we were in a holding pattern. And I was like, "This is shit. This isn't finished yet." Actually, I didn't have a sophisticated thought like that. But anyway, but now it's like, it's the equivalent of having fucking Netflix on there, isn't it? It's like, if you can't get through a long haul flight now, you're an idiot.
Well, do you know what?
Or you've got too much time.
Not even just for the TV and the film. The thing that blew my mind years ago, I can't remember what flight I was on, but it was a long haul. And I remember being able to play freaking games with other people on the plane. Multiplayer games. And I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah,
you
with
play
a
multiplayer. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Like the remote
Dude,
control
have you ever
for the
flown
screen.
business class?
No, I haven't, actually. I've still not flown business class before.
Right, let me tell you about your future.
Let's go.
Because I never would have got there. But Rach has done some amazing stuff with like collecting Avios, which means that in normal circumstances, we usually can do a business class flight every year for like, because you get lots of air miles and it's about the same price as a normal flight sort of thing. And the best one we've done, which was the real pimpy deal, was when we flew to Mexico with the whole, you know, you're opposite each other and you've got the whole like, and then you're lying down bed and the TV pulls out. Dude, on that flight, I managed to get fucking battered and have a hangover before we were even close to landing, and then kind of come round again and have a steak sandwich and another drink. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
The thing is, I
just thought,
in the situation where you're facing each other like that, immediately I just thought, if you need to pick your nose, busted straight away. All the things that you can get away with if you're sat next to someone. Oh, well, you can pull down. Sorry, like blind date.
Yeah. Oh, Scout's knocked my microphone here. Yeah. So you could literally, if you had a row. Oh, can you see what's happening here?
Yeah,
the dog's standing on my head.
I can definitely see what's happening.
My ball. What the fuck are you doing, bro? I'm chatting to Kai.
Hi, Scout.
Just lit you asleep. Look, it's Kai.
Hi, Scout.
She's like, is Kai gonna walk me? I don't care.
Oh, she's
that
so
was really
beautiful.
wet. I've just shaved my head and I've got a really wet patch now. Anyway, sorry. We'll just pretend she's not there until she starts growling. Then I'll put her downstairs and give her some peanut butter. She's doing her little watching post now. She likes to just look out and check the world's behaving.
It's exactly what we do with David, dude. Right. I don't know whether you have with a little licky mat, like a little rubberized mat that sticks to the floor, so sticks to like hard floor, and on the top of it is like bevels, little grooves. Spread peanut butter in there and it gets trapped in the grooves. So they spend freaking
That's a nice
ages.
idea.
They lick all the stuff they can get to, and then they just spend ages trying to get to the peanut butter that they can't really get to. It's amazing.
That's genius. That's okay. I'm going to order one when we finish this episode. That's a brilliant idea.
So
because at the moment I just punch her in the face. What? I just kidding, puppy.
No, really.
Right. Okay. Also, right. Oh, one more thing about flying, because I think our sort of topic today was going to be gig stories. I've flown a fair amount for functions, which to anyone who isn't familiar is basically you're playing cover songs for a corporate audience or a wedding audience or whatever. You know, it's the stuff that's well paid and keeps everyone afloat if you play an instrument. And I bet you've noticed this before. So I'd flown. This is a band I've been in for years and years and years, and we had a gig in Barcelona. Oh, there's like 3 good stories here actually. Ow, that is just nibbling my finger, you little tyke. Look at this. Can you see what's happening?
I could so see it coming as well.
Like, she's gentle enough that she's like, I know this is your hand. I'm not going to bite you, but also I want to chew something, and here's your fingers. Anyway. This is a band I know super well of absolutely lovely human beings. And we'd flown together lots and lots of times. But for some reason, we all had the same moment this time where we landed. And you know, when the seatbelt sign goes off as you land and you're allowed to get off in the seats. And it goes ding dong or something like that. I can't remember what the interval is, but it's the first interval of the bit in Home Alone, of the theme in Home Alone that goes da 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 da.
Yeah, it's
da,
a major third,
da,
isn't it?
That's
it's a
I think it's a major third. Yeah. All right, Captain Ears, and yeah. That was actually an F, not an E, but never mind. But anyway, but one of us went home, and everyone went Home Alone, and it was like the whole band, and we were like, yeah, that reminds me of Home Alone, but we'd never thought of it, or if we all had, none of us had ever said it out loud. Anyway, that's not the best story. Seeing as we're here is quite funny because it was this was a gig in Barcelona. It was a very well moneyed wedding in Barcelona, and it's rare, obviously, as you know, on a function that you're not driving at the end of it. So this band of brothers and sisters took it upon themselves to get battered, right? Because it was like, well, I've talked loads about drinking this episode. I really don't drink very often.
Clearly I've got a problem. Alcoholic, Rob.
Yeah, clearly. But anyway, so we drank loads, and one of my mates, who I'll not name, but it was very funny. He's quite loud. No, that's not true. He's not loud. He's quite techie and like exact and likes cool geeky stuff. I love this dude, right? I can't state this enough. I love this guy. And he got to the point where he was just saying the first thing that came into his head before we went home. And as a woman walked past him who was way too close, and obviously it's an okay thing to do anyway, but just the way it happened was so funny. She walked past and he just went, "She's fit!" And I was like, oh my God, she's also a human. like, oh my God, man. man. Anyway, so that night he went back to his room. He was sharing with someone else, and someone else woke up in the middle of the night and looked around and saw first friend facing a wall, pissing on it.
Oh,
next to the toilet.
No.
It's just completely gone.
Oh no,
completely gone. Anyway, sorry.
Alcohol, man. Okay, all right. So we need to go over it quickly, just because it popped into my head. So the first interval you sang was a major third. The Home Alone is a minor third. Because it's the 5 to the 3. It's a 5 to the. It's a fifth to the major third. Ba 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 ba. Is that one?
Ah, right? Yeah. Great.
So
great.
So I'm gonna take your word for it that interval on an airplane is probably a minor third.
It's one of the like the captain has pressed this button sounds.
Yeah. I know exactly. Yeah.
So your sound is going a bit crackly. I can't tell if that's just my end or if there's a thing going on.
I'm sure Moose will tell us. Moose, am I?
Yeah, Moose, is there? Is my sounding weird to you as well, or is it just up in my speakers?
It might be that I'm just a little bit loud now.
It might also be that Moose has got better things to do than play sound engineer.
He's just so good at it. Yeah, Moose says it sounds all right on stream, so it's just that your equipment's fucked.
Yeah. I hope not, because these speakers cost more than the dog.
What are you using? What speakers are you using?
I've got a pair of Adam A7Xs.
Oh, yeah, okay, nice.
They are gorgeous, but they are also, I think they're about 10 years old now, and they're still fantastic. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So Gig Stories was the thing, wasn't it? Which I've stumbled across because of flying. I do have a couple more. Hold on, I wrote them down. Oh, I've got a couple more. Neither of the two drinking, which I think everyone's going to be relieved at this point that I haven't just banged on about alcohol for like half an hour.
Yeah, but they do add. Alcohol does add to many good anecdotes, especially gig-based anecdotes.
And also, my sort of policy of alcohol is I don't really drink very often, because when I do drink, I like to go in and have a lovely time and not worry about if I've drunk too much, because it's like, well, I only do it a couple of times a month.
Exactly.
Anyway. You no longer gig, as far as I'm aware.
No.
But did for an awfully long time in all kinds of contexts and all kinds of genres of music. I'm assuming everyone who follows you knows you are I don't know, a ridiculous bass player.
Yeah, people that come and I mean, I would never these days. Maybe one time I would have tried to profess that I was a very, very, very good bass player. I don't even, it's weird. I don't necessarily identify with the same character anymore, the same kind.
Yeah. I totally relate to that.
It's so funny. So I have way more humility, and I'm way more disconnected from the ego of that phase of my life than I was 10 years ago. Plus, I don't play that often. The only time I play is when I'm playing on stream, and I really love it. But I don't shed anymore. If I wanted to shed, then I know that I would be. I could get myself back up to that level. But you know what it's like. It's like doing the whole thing of, do I want to commit to 4 or 5 hours of practice a day? And it's like, not really. Definitely not.
Not at all. I'm on this WhatsApp group of other sax players, right? Which is a lovely group of, like, most of whom I don't know, but it's just usually it's a sort of dep gig place, and it's really, really nice. And the guy started, it was really good of him to do, actually. But yesterday there was someone on it being like, someone said, I'm selling a few horns, does anyone want one? And then another person said, so and so was looking for one. And then so and so came back and said, oh no, I've got one, and sent a picture and said, it's a 1930s whatever, and called it a tranny. Which I didn't for a second think was, in reference to a transvestite, right? Or transsexual. Obviously, to me it was obvious.
Wait. I can't think of what that is. What brand is a tranny?
No, it was a type. It was a different brand, but it was short for transitional, and clearly that's what they called. So also, all of these guys, I think I'm the only one on there with one good saxophone. Like, even when I played, I will play saxophone again, but even when I was super into shedding, I had one horn. I didn't give a shit. It was like, give me one that works. I want to play music. Whereas every other sax player has 12, right? Yeah, right? So I'm always like, you're all mad. Have you not ridden a motorbike? Invest.
Exactly. Anyway, have other things that you can do and enjoy doing.
So this dude said, it's a tranny, blah, 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 blah. And I thought, yeah, fine, whatever. Another guy was like, I don't think it's okay to refer to a saxophone like that. And then the first guy came back and was like, point taken. So I didn't mean, no, he apologized. I didn't mean to offend anyone. I thought, I felt slightly annoyed because I was like, who's offended? Like, as in, obviously, let's not go into a whole thing about offense and peace and political correctness and stuff. Can you shush? But I just had this moment of being like, I don't know this guy, but nothing about his tone suggested I'm just going to use a derogatory comment about saxophone just for a laugh. I was like, that's a lot to assume of someone, you know.
Also, he wasn't anyway.
No, not at all.
That's the point. He wasn't using it as a derogatory.
Absolutely not. No, all credits to the guy. He immediately said, "Oh, I'm really sorry if anyone was offended." I thought, if anyone was offended by that, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
Because when you do hear those things in real life, you know when it's meant like that.
Right.
And then
exactly.
That's when you speak up and say, "Hey, that's
exactly."
Cool.
That's what I
does.
That's what I like to talk. You know, what to call the recreationally triggered people that go out of their way.
That's an incredible phrase.
Honestly, the amount of people that are recreationally triggered, where they just love to choose to feel offended by something because it just creates a debate, or it creates debate in a situation where you're basically, for people, you're in a win-win, where you can't come back at that person, because otherwise suddenly you seem like the thing that you were never, but you're now being accused of. And so it's a weird situation when people decide to choose to be triggered by something, or choose to feel like faux offense to start a conversation. Absolutely. And it's a very difficult thing, isn't it? But also less importantly, in a societal sense, but also much more amusingly, gig stories. Yeah, exactly.
That aren't offensive at all.
I suddenly remembered what we were saying when you said, "Be careful that we stay away from certain topics." And
And then I marched us into it whistling. Brilliant. Done, Rob. Right. Okay. So I have a couple of gig stories. Shall I tell one or two, or do you want to tell one first, or? I don't mind.
I'll start with one, because I suddenly realised that I haven't thought through a lot of these. So let me start with some of the ones that I do remember, and I'm going to start with ones coming from a completely different angle. And I'm also going to, I'm not going to mention any names. I think
sure.
It's the safest thing to do.
Keith.
So the first three that I'm going to start off with are related to gigs, but two of them are gigs I didn't end up doing, and how I didn't end up doing them, and one is a post-gig event that happened.
I'm here for it.
Okay, so we'll go with the two that didn't happen that should have happened. Now, one of them was that I was in a band with someone. It was essentially it was sort of a function gig. Although the people running the group didn't really see it as a function gig, they saw it as like a legitimate band, and it's like it's not, man. It's not. This is a function band, and every gig we do is being hired as a function band. So let's not be silly about it. Anyway, so me and one of the other guys in the band, just suddenly. we met up to go to the gig, and he was like, "Man, we can't be fucked to do this gig." It was a long drive. It was up north somewhere. Like, we can't be fucked. We're like, should we just not go? It's like, we can't just not go. Like, we could just go and get pizza. Like, just fuck it, we'll go and get pizza. We're just like, fuck it, let's go and get pizza. So we just went and got pizza. And
you didn't do the gig?
Oh, we didn't do the gig. and so they called up. They were just like, where are you? We've got like sound check. We're like, oh yeah, we've broken down. We've broken down on the motorway. And they were like, oh no, you're kidding, but we've got a sound check now and the gig soon. And we're like, yeah, I know, we're waiting for the AA now. It's like, look, where are you? And I was like, where are we? And it's like, oh, we're roughly here. And it's like, well, look, let us know where you are, because that's not that far. We'll come and get you. And I was like,
oh no.
And I was like, oh, Karma, you
that
absolutely,
is incredible.
That's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I was
You're
like,
spot on now, aren't you, big man? Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. I tell you what, let me see how far the AA are. And I'll call you back. So I hung up, and I was just like, turned to my mate, and who's just like mouthful of pizza, and I was like, they're offering to come and pick us up. We're fucked. Anyway, it was fine. In the end, it was fine. We got away with it. They weren't.
Did you do the
off.
gig?
No, we didn't do the gig.
How?
Because I think I phoned back and said...
Because you killed them. You killed the band.
I said the AA were on their way. I said they'd be here in like 20 minutes. And then obviously they weren't here in 20 minutes because they took a lot longer.
Right. Yeah.
So that wasn't a great one because that was like just purposeful sabotage.
Yeah.
The next one wasn't purposeful sabotage. So the next one was just something that happened to me inexplicably. Now I'm super proud of the fact that for all of my intent and well-natured efforts, I have never been able to get myself in the right habit to use a diary. Ever.
Right. Which, as a musician, is... She said it.
Well, you
Shocking.
think so, Sprout. Sprout.
Sprout. Our dog trainer calls it Sprout. And hard to argue with him.
You think so. You think it's crucial. To be honest, I've honestly never needed one. Like, my memory is astounding. And maybe it's not a good thing because it means that I've just got everything crammed in here. So when I get overwhelmed, that's why. Because it's just everything is up here.
Yeah,
dates, appointments, rehearsals, sessions. It's all up there. And it's never let me down, apart from this one time where, and again, this is a different person who, it was just a friend, wasn't a bandmate, but again, it involved pizza, and we'd ordered Domino's. I was like, do you want to hang out tonight? Yeah, let's get pizza. Had pizza. Phone goes.
Yeah.
Where are you? And I was just standing there with the pizza thinking, I don't know. I don't know why you're calling me. I was like, I know who this is. And I was like, where am I? I was like, where are you? And they were like, we're on stage about to sound check. And literally my brain was still going.
Couldn't tell you.
And I was just literally racking my brain. And she's like, what? And I was like, oh yeah. I'm on my way. But I had a call from another friend of mine who's just been rushed to hospital. I just panicked. I just pure panicked.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Like, and I literally, my brain was still going, my schedule is empty tonight. I don't know what this is. And then I was like, I was like, I'll call you back in a second. I just need to find out what's going on with them. Put the phone down. I was like, oh, fuck. I've got a gig in Islington. I've got a gig at the fucking O2
that could
Academy.
Have been worse. That could have been way worse.
Yeah, it could have been way worse. Anyway, again, got away with it because this friend had been horrendously maimed and she took pity.
And no one wanted to make you cry on stage. Yeah. Because they're all good people and they don't forget gigs. Yeah.
No, sure. Exactly. I just, honestly, it never happened to me before. And it was the first time that I've thought, is there something wrong in my brain? Like, am I having a heart attack, or like, am I having a seizure or something? Because that has never happened. Right, third story. Let me get this one out, and then I'll pass over to you. So
don't rush. These are way better than mine.
So third one was post gig. So had done a gig, funnily enough, with the same band from the first story. This is a gig that I had turned up to, and finished the gig, and
I like that you said that like this one. Like, it was a bit of a special.
Where's my medal? Where's my gold medal? So bring it.
Someone was eager.
Like, what do you mean I'm not doing gigs anymore?
What do you mean my clients can never find me? Sorry, right, go on.
So, done the gig, finished the gig, great gig, and a friend of mine had come to the gig. Doesn't usually come to my gigs. Come to it, really enjoyed it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And me and the saxophonist and another person in the band and my friend had decided to go for a drink afterwards. So me and the saxophonist, good mates, and we found ourselves walking just slightly ahead of my mate and the other person in the band. They didn't know each other, and they were just like deep in conversation. I can't believe this is there is going to be a common theme through all three of these stories.
Brilliant.
My saxophonist,
obviously that's how we planned it. Yeah.
Saxophonist friend turned to me and was like, "Do you know what? Like, Domino's closes in like 10 minutes. Should we just fuck off and get a pizza? And I was like, we can't. Yeah, but we can't leave. Like that's can't leave my mate and the other person in the band.
Oh dear.
He was just like, we could just run. We could just run off. We could just run away. And I was like, anyway, I turn round and he's just sprinting.
That's incredible. He literally legged it.
He's legged it.
Kyle, follow. Don't worry.
We've now got enough distance that they haven't seen this happen. So I'm suddenly sprinting away. He's jumped in his car. I've jumped in his car, screeched off. And like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I don't know what to
fucking say to that. That's incredible.
Like, what are we doing? It's just like, I don't know, man, but fucking Domino's. We could get Domino's. And I was like, yeah, but there are repercussions to what has just happened here. 2 minutes later, my phone goes. My phone goes from the other person in the band saying, "Where have you gone?" And I was just like, I was showing the saxophonist, and I was like, and he was just like, just say there's a fire. Just say there's a fire.
That what?
So literally, I was just looking at him like, fire related to what? But I was only conveying this in the panic in my eyes because this person's saying, "Where have you gone?" And I was just put the phone back to my ear, and I said, "There's been a fire in his parents' house. His parents' house has gone on fire."
Fucking hell. Which is
at which point, freaking getaway driver is looking at me like.
Yeah, and you were like, "Hey man, you dug this hole. I'm just living in it." Yeah. Fucking hell.
So the person on the phone was just like, "Oh my god." It's like, "Are they okay?" And I was like, "We've got no idea. We're driving there now."
You put more petrol on the proverbial fire, did you? You didn't say, no, they're fine. They're already out. We're just going to go to they're okay. Yeah. Brilliant.
So and then we just went and had pizza. And that was it.
You could still eat after that. There was no cortisol running through.
Starving. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to lie to you.
Like, still hungry.
The pizza extinguished any moral quandary that I was in. Then the pizza's just like, that was a bad thing to do, but this is great.
And also, no one was actually hurt in the making of that pizza.
No one was hurt. And I found out that they went and had a nice drink, completely confused about what was going on. Obviously.
You know what, dude? I hate video calls, but I'm going to start FaceTiming you if you're ever not somewhere. Because fucking hell, I don't know if I can believe a word out of your mouth now. That is amazing. But fantastic anecdotes and like absolutely brilliant. I don't think I ever done. I don't think I've ever intentionally or not. No, I don't think I've ever just missed a gig or anything like that. I've been late to them for reasons because of whatever, boring.
Mm-hmm.
But no, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking because I've done, as you know, I've played at more weddings than.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's very hard to feel anyway, whatever. But the one I was thinking, the sad thing about this is for most of the weddings I've done over like a decade, I don't have that many good stories, and that's bad, right?
Yeah, because that's crazy. Because
there's this sort of sense of tedious inevitability of it just being forever thus. But there are a couple of things that spring to mind. One is specifically related to playing at a wedding. Some weddings you turn up to, right? I've just remembered another one. Great. Okay, there's two. One I've got written down, so I'll tell the other one's just come into my head first. I'm not proud of this. But I did make a rather tasteless joke on a gig. Right, hard to believe.
Like you.
Where basically, I can't think of a way of telling this about me just coming out stinking like shit.
You just have to say it. I've just told you. You basically just had 3 instances.
No. You're right. Well, anyway, no. It's I basically. So on lots of gigs you have a talkback mic for the band, which is a microphone on stage which only goes into the ears, the earphones of the in-ears of all the musicians. So whoever's calling the tunes can be like, right, next we're going to play this in this key and whatever. So the whole thing's a lot slicker as you come to the end of a song. Anyway, we were doing this gig with the band, lovely, funny, lovely chaps.
It's a wedding. Is it a wedding?
Yeah, it was a wedding gig. Yeah. And the groom was a fucking bellend. but it was the gig that it was for. The guy who runs that band, he is one of the loveliest dudes, you know. And Mike said when we got this, like, this guy's a prick, and we were like, okay, because Mike gets on with everyone, so he's clearly a fucking A-grade prick. And I basically, to cut a very long story short, we were just having a bit of fun with the talkback mic during the first dance, and I said onto the talkback mic, "Where do you think he ordered her?" Implying that he had to order a bride online because because he's such a prick that no woman in her right mind would actually love him. And the guitar player, on reflection, I should have known straight away that was fine. But in the moment, I didn't. The guitar player leaned into the same microphone and went, "This is going out the front of house, Rob." And for that split second, or a couple of seconds, actually, I honestly thought, if I could die now, I'd take it. I'd actively take it. And then I thought, hold on, he said it into the same mic, and realized
it wasn't.
Yeah, that no one was looking at me, and the rest of the band were crying, laughing. I've just thought another one as well. I was like, oh my God. But dude, that feeling of like, I've been found out was absolutely the most dreadful thing. It was just awful. And I remember thinking, I'm never going to make that mistake again. But anyway, luckily it was fine. And it was true. The groom was a massive prick. Treated everyone like shit. You learn a lot about people at their weddings. True. Some couples, you turn out. Some couples are just, you can just tell from their vibe. They're just going, hey, "Do you have what you need? Are you okay?" Always like, yeah, we're totally fine. We need like a sandwich and a toilet, and we're all right.
Exactly, that's what you need.
And some people turn up and they go, I don't even say any words. They just give you that movement with their head. They says, "Are you gonna be the help or what?" And you immediately think, "Yeah, I'm not even gonna use my right hand for this gig. You're gonna get half the notes." Anyway, the other wedding thing I was going to tell you before I reminded myself of that one where I thought I was going to die of shame, which is way more fun. It was a wedding where the vibe was poor. Clearly, not a lot of people at the wedding knew each other. No one had kind of knitted the event together to make it feel fun. It all felt a bit forced and weird. We kind of all picked on this quite early. Anyway, we were on stage. I think we played the first dance, but then they wanted to do first dance and then cut the cake on the dance floor and then start the first set, you know. Anyway, so we finished first dance and we were all on stage and they went to cut the cake and they knocked the wedding cake over. Hit the floor. And it was, I've been to so many weddings as a guest and also as a musician where that would be hilarious. And one person makes a joke and everyone's like, "Great, tuck in," and you get it off the floor, or right. you just find a way to make it part of the story, right? There was none of that energy at this gig. It was like awful. And I looked around and all of the band are like, and then I look around at the drummer's doing this. And he's literally at the speed of light, he'd already put it on his Instagram stories. I was like, "Dude," and he was like, "This is incredible."
That is amazing.
He literally posted it to like, I don't know, 400 other musicians. Yeah, which was great. No one else saw the funny side. I was like, oh God,
So what broke the tension then? The moment where like everyone's
nothing got better.
Wow.
Someone very carefully picked up the cake and carried it away. We started the first song. There's dance. People were just sat around the dance floor looking at us. It was, oh my God, it was bad. I mean, obviously, people not dancing, right, is fine. Because usually what happens is the first set is crap or semi-crap, depending on the vibe of the wedding. And then they all get drunk and it kicks in by about the time of the second set. And then everyone has a great time. It's fine.
Exactly.
Usually, you pay for 2 sets, you get one you actually enjoy, right? It's not my fault. But this was like, oh God, I just thought, I really hope you're both happy together because this has been miserable.
Oh, that
at least I get to drive out of it. Yeah. But also, fucking one other thing which is funny is I've done a few functions for the Moroccan royal family. Totally random.
As you do.
They love Rob. No, but the funny bit of the story is that the initial phone call went to the guy who runs the agency. He's a lovely guy with a this is crucial to the story, with a thick Geordie accent. He's an awesome dude. And this woman phones up and she says, "Hi, I'm the personal assistant to Princess Maryam, blah, 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 of Moroccan royal family."
Right.
And Jeff immediately thought it was one of his wife's friends having a laugh with him.
Oh,
so he just shouted, "Fuck off."
Oh my God.
But because his accent's so thick, she didn't get what he said. And in the kind of ensuing seconds where she was like, "Excuse me, I'm this woman," da, 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 he thought, this doesn't sound like a joke, and sort of very quickly backtracked. And dude, within that, like, nailed himself. I don't know how much money he made. I hope it's been loads.
God.
Sending bands out to the Rock and Roll family for like years.
Oh my God.
Like,
And it could have literally just gone like that.
On a knife edge. I don't doubt that the amount of work has come since it could have all disintegrated as he just told this woman to fuck off immediately.
Oh my God, that's horrendous.
But I tell you what though, Rock and Roll Family, a lot of cars. Like their yachts.
Oh, I bet. I mean, anybody like that, any like extremely wealthy, either individual or like royal family, they love their
it's super weird
Dubai and stuff like that, or in the United Arab Emirates and
oh god, that's all the same. Going to one of the Moroccan ones we did was for I think I've done 3 of them, and one of them we were driven from the airport. I think we had to fly to Casablanca rather than Rabat, so you drive through loads of bits of Moroccan sort of rural countryside and stuff where it's like, okay, this is clearly quite bleak, like the living standard here doesn't seem particularly high. Then you get to this huge compound of people with loads of soldiers, and you put your phone in a bag and all that kind of stuff. And there were just like almost like mini streets filled up with supercars, and you're thinking, what? Those houses didn't have windows.
Yeah, what?
How is that right? It's fucking, I take the money, don't get me wrong, but
that's so strange. That's so strange.
It's a very, very weird. Playing those kind of things is always a weird experience because you're seeing a level of opulence that even if you play at posh hotels in London and stuff, you don't see.
Yeah,
and and that is different there as well. It's like you keep playing because they want you to keep playing. You're like, oh, you booked us 3 sets. Like, we don't care, keep playing.
Yeah,
we'll just give you some money. Go away. Don't bother me with a response. Okay.
Moose has just said Moroccan Roll Family, which is absolutely amazing. You've outdone yourself.
I've done 3 different gigs there, and I've never thought of that joke is frustrating.
That's outstanding. Moose really is the queen of puns.
Have you ever done a function where I thought of this as we were chatting, where you have a proper laugh, where it comes to the point where full breakdown laughter, can't play? I had this one once where it's me and the trumpet player, who's he's a phenomenal trumpet player and a lovely bloke, very, very funny, and we often have a bit of a laugh on gigs together, which is really nice. As you usually do with whoever you're playing with, especially if you're playing with another player.
Yeah.
But this isn't gonna. It probably isn't gonna translate well, right? But honestly, dude, I can still feel the sense of powerlessness at how much it made us both laugh. So we were playing a chart on his iPad, and there was I think it was on Fourscore or whatever the app is, where you can you can annotate music and you can add stuff and whatever. And there was the tiny little icon that says there's a note there, and George, like, totally straight, and I genuinely think he didn't know it was there. He looked at me like, that's weird, I don't know what that note is. And he opened it, and a huge yellow post-it note thing came over the whole chart. And in tiny writing in the top left-hand corner, it just said cunt. Which isn't that funny of itself. But, dude, it was one of those glorious moments in life where it started a roll of laughter, and then a bit more, and then a bit more. And then suddenly we were, I mean this absolutely literally, I promise this is true. We were bent over during the middle of a song with our horns on the floor.
That is amazing.
Pretending. And everyone was going, what's funny? Why are you laughing? What? And we're going, I can't just say cunt.
You can't.
That's not really the funny bit. The funny bit was that we just, it was just the big thing. And then it was so small. We just didn't, it was just.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, I know. It's just a rude word, but there was something about it that just completely left us in bits. And it was just, it took us 3 or 4 minutes to get past it, and not just, we kept putting the horns back in our faces, and then we couldn't, and they were sort of falling out.
It's horrendous though. It's horrendous because it's bad enough when you get like uncontrollable fits of giggles in real life, where you get to the point like 2 minutes in and you're like, okay, cool, this needs to go now, and it's not going anywhere. When you're on a gig and it starts like you lose strength in your arms and you're like, literally, I need to be able to move these fingers quite fast, and everything just falls apart. It's the worst feeling.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful. I mean, look, at least with horn players, it doesn't matter, because if you weren't there, no one would care. It's shiny, it looks nice. Honestly, the keyboard player can do it with a patch. Do you know what I mean? It's not a big deal. Let's have it right, But yeah, there's been lots and lots of things like that where you think, oh God, and then you simultaneously have those existential moments going, what am I doing? How is this a living?
Oh, it's great though. Weird. It's great, and it's really nice. I mean, you know what it's like, and I haven't done as many function gigs as you have, but I mean, I've still done hundreds.
Plenty.
Yeah, enough, more than enough.
Sure.
And it's so nice, like you say, it's so nice when you do one and it's really enjoyable, because you know what that feeling is like when you know you've got a function gig booked and you're just like, kill me now, and I haven't gone there yet. I haven't even gone there yet. And when you turn up and you start playing, do you know what, you're like, man, do you know what, this is a really great band and there's a really nice vibe. And even though I've played these tunes about 1,000,005 times, it's still gonna be really fun. And it's so great knowing you've got a gig like that ahead of you.
And universally, it's never the ones you expect. Like we did, so the band I mentioned, Barcelona, which at this point has been together about 10 years, probably in 2019, I think it was. Yeah, we did this semi-regular gig at like a supper club thing. It was some posh club in London under one of the posh bridges. I don't know. Who cares? The point is, we were like, this is a fucking faff. Because, like, in a weird way, driving to Surrey is easier than not for all, but for most people, with a drum kit, than going into town, right? Oh, man. And this was like, and Dave, the bass player, who's a living legend, lives in North Wales. Let's not go into it. He's mad, but he's amazing. And anyway, so you driving in, and it was like the money was like half what it normally is, but it was being filmed, so it was really great because it gets you more work, and it was like a Thursday night.
Sorry. So Dave was living in North Wales to come to a gig in London.
Yeah, he moved. Well, he used to live in like Northamptonshire. Then he moved to North Wales, and we were like, "What are you going to do?" He's like, "I'm just going to keep coming." Dave's ex-military, so he's been to a war. Driving a long way is not a problem for Dave. He's done the Ironman like 3 times.
Right, yeah. So
and the most amazing thing about Dave is he's the loveliest, softly spoken. I could spend another 2 minutes talking about how great this guy is. But anyway, so no one's happy because we had to park or whatever. And it's like, we just got to fucking churn out an hour of function bollocks. Who cares? And it was over 2 half-an-hour sets. And we finished the first set and went in to get dinner. And everyone went, "That's the best we've ever played." What the fuck? That's after 9 years at this point. It's like, that's the best gig we've ever done. Why was that? Why did we peak then? It was the same song, same people. If anything, we're more grumpy than usual. But all of us came off and went, "That was the best this band's ever sounded."
Wow.
It was absolutely blinding. And then because we were so happy, we came out and the second set took the roof off. I mean, properly, we got people out of their chairs, like dancing in the aisles of where they were supposed to be having dinner and stuff. It was brilliant. But I couldn't tell you now why it was that particular Thursday, whenever it was, suddenly everything, just went really well. And it was great. Usually it's the opposite. You go home, you just go, "That was fucking ropey." Just go, and same band,
Yeah, for sure.
It's so weird.
Absolutely.
It's such a strange industry.
Absolutely. I mean,
I always miss it now.
Really?
Sorry. Well, just because I barely played the saxophone last year, and whilst I'm sort of career-wise, moving onto different industry and what have you, I still happily do the gigs most of the time because they're quite fun. And at this point, I just miss the people.
Yeah,
the people often it's a weird world, isn't it? Because you work with these people most weekends or most weeks, and often you end up knowing more about their personal lives week to week than you do your close friends.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because every Saturday you see them in a different place, and you go, "How's it going? How's your daughter? What's happened with her school or whatever?" You were doing your kitchen, weren't you? And that's you hold on to each other's bits of information, so you get invested, and obviously they become friends, which is nice. And so actually, that for me has been the thing that I do miss a bit.
Yeah,
I couldn't give a fuck about the saxophone, really. I mean, it'd be quite fun to try and play it again, I suppose. But yeah, that thing of just the social aspect of it. I guess you probably don't get as a personal trainer as much because it can be more solitary, I imagine. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's something about the sort of
the personal. I mean, definitely with personal training, a big part of it for me is the social aspect. Is the fact that I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, my job is, I would say, maybe 50% training, 50% therapy, where I'm essentially a friend or
a bit like teaching
counselor.
Adults.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
I totally get that. Yeah. Do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy the therapy?
I love it. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it, and it's why
Steve, you're a mess.
It's why I pick and choose my clients so carefully, because if I feel like there's a prospective client and we're not going to click socially, then I won't train them. I just won't pick them up.
100%.
I just be like, no, 100%. It's not. This isn't going to be enjoyable for me, and so I'm not going to be able to give you what you need.
Yeah,
because I've had that
face-to-face aspect.
Yeah, I do, for sure. I do. I mean, it's not the same on Zoom or WhatsApp. It's definitely not the same. But at the same time,
for a second, I had an image of you just messaging on WhatsApp. Burpees, 12 burpees. Also, are you happy? Question mark. Emoji.
The thing is, I'm not complaining because like the efficiency of it and being able to actually still earn a living whilst training people remotely has been amazing. Like, it's been absolutely amazing.
Oh, for sure. Also, I reckon we owe a mind at least £3 for that shower shit.
I also feel like you need to put on there +5 because I did not get up at 8 o'clock this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you know what? Neither did I. And I got up at 8. I took dog straight out with Rach, but that's only because Rachel was like, let's go straight out.
Well, that's fine. Put on a +5 on there for me.
Okay, great. I mean, this is great because we're punishing ourselves by doing good. And that is, I mean, you know, that's pretty genius.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, no, dude, I find when I used to do loads of private teaching, music teaching, which I don't do anymore at all. When I taught adults, I found exactly the same thing, that about half of it was, fucking hell, who cares if they could play the saxophone? And not in a, I don't mean that in a dismissive way, but in terms of like, you know, if you're, I don't know, in your middle age or you're kind of age we are now, and you just think, I fancy having a go at another skill. And so I'm going to invest some money in having an hour for me each week or every other week or whatever. I just think that's brilliant. And actually, so if they wanted to come and talk about their kids or just, you know, you might not play the sax very much, I was always fine with it. Often people would be a bit apologetic. They hadn't done any practice. Like, yeah, you haven't done any practice because you've got a whole life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And you're enjoying this. So the only pressure is from you. Like I was always happy for people to just, as long as they were enjoying it.
Yeah. So
I didn't mind.
So it's the same
because
thing. Because
also
it's the same thing like with kids and with adults, where you essentially, even though with kids and teaching them music and teaching them an instrument, you're aware that their mind's like a sponge and they're going to soak all of this stuff up, and you really want them to learn this skill. It's the same thing between kids and adults, where ultimately you want to create a positive connection with music and their lives, essentially. So you want them, if all of the kids I've ever taught bass, guitar, piano to grow up and they have a positive connection, they think back to when I taught them when they were younger, and they're like, yeah, I really enjoyed that. That was great. That may have had a positive influence on any other aspect of their life, even if we'll never know what that is. And it's the same thing with an adult. Like 100%. You say, if they rock up to a lesson and they don't necessarily learn to play much and it's all fairly amateur, but it makes them happier, then great. Like, great.
Yeah. Oh, it's lovely. Especially if you get to just the fun of just learning some music, whereas, you know, once it becomes a job, obviously it's like anything, you know, it becomes different. I think there's, and it's funny you said the thing about kids, because I think the thing that's hard to measure, but I don't know how to say this, hard to measure, but very tangible in terms of tracking the development of children. If they've invested lots of time in their youth and stuff they're into, especially things around drama and music, or any kind of extracurricular thing, you come away with all these invaluable skills around like communication and team building, which, as someone who spent an awfully long time on the job market in the last few months, you know, finding a new career and all that stuff, that is what people want. People need people who can communicate, empathize, digest information, work in a team, take on suggestions, know when to put an idea in the bin and get a new one. Like, sorry, you don't learn that in lots of classroom teaching, which is nothing against the classroom teachers whatsoever. It's, for me, it's a syllabus thing. And I think that's the value, isn't it? Is that you're giving kids those tools of like, which I guess is different for adults, a different reason, but kids, you're giving them, especially if they're playing in music groups and stuff like that. What, you don't agree? What do you know?
Where's she been? She's been so quiet for the last half an hour. Where's she been? She's been on the couch behind you.
She gave up on me because she... No, she went downstairs, and I think Rach just got home. She went to Rach, and now she's come back up to remind me that she hasn't had a second walk here. But today, right, was amazing. We took her out this morning, and we put a coat on her as usual. Started playing catch, and Rach was like, she's panting really, really fast here. She started to pant really quickly. Yeah, and I was like, brilliant. So now I'm going to start putting her in bin liners every day because she was knackered. Came home, fell asleep. It was fantastic. Make that dog sweat. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh yeah, they can't. Yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? You were just
yeah, it's so mild out there. Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, he's good. He is fast asleep. He's fast asleep. He went for a walk with Sophie and then has just been outside playing with the dog next door. So our neighbours have a puppy Alsatian cross.
That's a dream.
The same age as him, and they absolutely love each other, and they just play together all the time. And it's great because it just means that he'll sleep now for the rest of the day. He'll sleep. He'll sleep for the rest of the day. He might be awake for an hour at like 8 or 9, and then he'll sleep from like 11 till 8 again.
Life's great, isn't it?
It's ideal.
Scout's got a friend like that called Thunder, who she plays with regularly, and like Thunder and Scout can basically only play with each other because they take it to 11 immediately. He's like, "Hey, do you want to play?" It's like, "Yeah, okay, right. I'm gonna hold you by the throat for an hour." And the other one's like,
"Wicked."
David
does a little bit of
yeah. And it's like, as long as the other dog's on board, then it's amazing. But then if one of them plays with another dog, we have to be like, wait, do you remember how most dogs are normal?
Exactly.
You can't just sort of pick them up by the ear and swing them around. Yeah. Absolutely nutcases. She's got loads of holes in her coat because of Thunder. He just picks her up by the coat. He's like, argh. It's pretty funny.
So funny. Moose says so many flowers popping up now too.
Anyways.
Spring living near woodland areas and farmland is amazing. Yeah, agreed, Moose. Agreed. Seeing like the changes outside in the countryside is just amazing. It really is.
Well, I've got a tree outside my window. It's barren. Oh no, there are some. I was about to say pods, not pods, buds.
Pods.
Yeah. There's a little podcast hanging off this tree because I live on Media Street. Oh God. Speaking of the dog, I'm gonna have to take her out in a second.
Yeah.
I feel like we've covered gig stuff pretty well.
So do I, and I think we haven't got a lot more to come back to.
Totally incriminated ourselves. Oh yeah, I mean we can definitely do a round 2 of this pretty comfortably, can't we? Which is a dream come true. Dude, look, we will speak again on Thursday.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
And we'll see how well. Other than lemons. Because lemons are notoriously the laziest fruit.
Indeed. Yeah, and we've got 5 days. Five days to prep for that podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Wicked. Well, dude, have a fantastic Saturday, late afternoon, evening. Much love.
You too.
And thanks for having Scout. We'll have David. Cheers. Bye.
See you later, Moosey. See you later, people. Mwah. See you later, my man.